but unlike the previous one, it is not a burial place of our king. It is actually connected to the name of the Islamic prophet, Nabi Ayob alayhi salam. Actually, we call this building as Chashma Ayob. In translation from Persian, Chashma means spring or well. So the name of the building can be translated as the well or the spring of Job, or of Ayob alayhi salam. So the local legends claim that many centuries ago, when Bukhara was just a small settlement, locals were suffering from the lack of drinking water. And by the happy chance, at that very time, the Prophet Ayob alayhi salam was visiting the area. So they went to him and asked to solve their problem. He prayed throughout the night, asking Allah for the solution. In the morning, the legend claims, he was inspired to come down to that very place and then to strike the dusty earth with his walking stick. So the cool source of spring water emerged, and people were saved from real death. They were saved from the lack of water thanks to that spring. Then we also believe that Nabi Ayob alayhi salam decided to remain in Bukhara because he liked the people of Bukhara very much. He liked the place very much. He spent the remaining part of his life in Bukhara, and he passed away in Bukhara. But that's just a legend. We don't really know whether it's true or not. Other sources claim that he was actually buried in a place called Hauran, not far from Damascus in present-day Syria. However, most of the scholars agree that it might be the place where he stepped, where he had been, so to speak. Yeah? So therefore, for us, it's a very important ziyarah place. And for the people of Bukhara in general, this is probably one of the holiest sites in the old part of the city. Then if you look on the opposite side, you see this building that looks like an observatory. This building is actually a new memorial complex in the honor of Imam al-Bukhari. You had a chance, I believe, to visit his actual mausoleum near Samarkand, but you know that he was born in Bukhara in year 810, and he spent much of his life here. Because of the celebrations of his anniversary, in 1998, the small memorial complex was built here in his honor. And the shape of the building actually has a symbolic meaning. You can see that the shape of the main part of the building is a crescent, which is a symbol of Islam. It's half moon. And then you can see that vertical part, right? Which is shaped like an open book. And that open book symbolizes Jami as-Sahih. It symbolizes the compendium of the sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by Imam al-Bukhari. Have a look inside. Automized now, so there is a pipe that takes the water up into this box, and then people can drink the water from the tap. We believe that because this place has got like a barakah, people would be coming here to drink the water, of course with good intentions, asking Allah for the mercy. So in the next room we call it Gurkhona, which is like a grave room, and we believe that in the next room Nabi Ayob alayhi salam is buried. And it is interesting to note that there is one source which is actually mentioned in the inscription up there. You can see the inscription itself is very old. It's from the 16th century. It is a local source that says that in the old books and in some of the sayings of the Tabi'ins, it was mentioned that one of the prophets of Bani Israel actually came to Bukhara, and the inscription says that this prophet was Nabi Ayob alayhi salam, who came here, who created the well, and who prayed in the honor of the people of Bukhara. And that's why all the misfortunes, all the bad things have been away from the city. And that he was buried here and next to his spring. So this is the information, the inscription on which we rely our claims about the actual burial place of Nabi Ayob. But as I said, this is just local information. We don't know for sure whether it's true or not true. For locals, they believe that it's here. So that's why they're coming in big numbers for the ziyarah to this place. Actually, if you look at the photograph there, you can see that there used to be a pretty large cemetery around this mausoleum, which used to extend all the way to the Islam. It was a huge And within that cemetery, we had the grave of many of the famous scholars of Bukhara, including Imam al-Baigandi, who was the master and the teacher of Imam al-Bukhari. So that was the reason why, when they in 1998 built this memorial, they decided to build it in front of this place, because that's the place where the teacher.
This is the well of Nabi Ayob.
Nabi Ayob. Pardon? Still there. Still there. Yeah. There is a fountain pipe that takes the water out. Previously, like 10 years ago, we used to take it with a rope. Like a rope and buckets, we take it. But now it's all. So this pillar is a very interesting thing. It's called Tugh. T-U-G-H. It is in our culture. It is a marker that shows that someone holy is buried. So if there is an Awliya, if there is a prophet, so you always have it. Yeah. But its origin is not with Islam. Its origin is with pagan Turkish people, nomads. Among them, such wooden poles, they used to indicate power, like flagpoles, for example. Yeah? But when they converted to Islam, this symbol of power was transformed into symbol of the spiritual and religious power. So we place it everywhere where the holy man is buried. And there is a lot of symbolism in it, because on top you normally have like a hand with 5 fingers. So some people say that it represents the 5 pillars of Islam. Others claim that it shows that it's a reminder about how can I say, the fact that the life is actually not so important, because you're coming to this world with nothing in your hands, and you're leaving this world with nothing in your hands. So there's nothing you can take away. Just to remind you, when you're passing by, that whatever you do, whatever money you amass during your life, you're not going to be able to take it with yourself into the afterlife. Only your good deeds. So another thing is that it's normally a white piece of white fabric. And that's a piece of fabric we use for wrapping the body after the death. So it's also a reminder of whatever silk and beautiful cloth you have. At the end of the day, you're still going to be wrapped in the same fabric that everyone else is being wrapped. And then there is like normally you have like a horse hair hanging. Actually, I think the origin of it goes to the nomads, because amongst them there was a very strong cult of horses. So Turks, for example, used to bury themselves with their horses, because horses for them were very important. But in Islamic culture, it sort of transformed, and if you ask imams today, they will say that this horse tail symbolizes the bridge, sirat, between this world and the underworld, and it will be as thin, as the one piece of the hair. So that you have to do as much good things to be at least sure that you're going to pass it.
In Pakistan, if you saw